Good evening and welcome to Pack Homer Pod, Season 3, Episode 2. We are back from the Puerto Rico Classic and we finally played two games, started 2-0, so we got a little bit to actually talk about instead of speculate. We beat Washington 10-0 in our first game. Our second game, we played Indiana State, won that ball game 10-4. And then our game against Seton Hall yesterday, I don't think anybody knew what the heck was going to happen all night. And then finally, Sunday morning, as me and Adam were beginning to speculate, it was canceled. Adam, I thought the Puerto Rico Classic it's got some bad rap for some state fans online. I thought it was a pretty well put together event. I will say we were in Puerto Rico and then Cog was, there was no play in there. It flat out came a flood.
Yeah, I thought it was well hosted tournament. I mean, they seemed like they had, the facility was old. I think somebody said the stadium, the one in Ponce was built in 1949, I think. I heard it from a questionable source, I guess would be the best way to describe it. Someone did tell me that I guess that stadium's history, Berta Clemente, Hank Aaron, and Willie Mays had all played in the outfield there. Not sure if that's correct, but anyway, there's a lot of history there. Also, it's the second oldest stadium in the Caribbean. So a lot of cool history there. They did a good job hosting the event, like I said. I was one thing I was disappointed about was I just felt like as popular as baseball is seemingly in Puerto Rico and the Caribbean in general, and there's a lot of, I mean, all kidding aside, there was more scouts at the games than I would say there was fans that weren't family.
I agree with
Didn't
that. And I think we have more fans than anybody. We didn't go see everybody play, but a pretty good crowd compared to both teams that we played against. Obviously, Washington was 4 time zones away, so
yeah,
I understand. And
but yeah,
Wesley, what did you think about the Victory Plus? You were telling us before we hopped on. It was
I had very low expectations going into my Friday rush to download Victory Plus, and I was actually pleased I didn't have to pay some type of fee subscription. But all in all, I thought the coverage was actually pretty decent for Victory Plus.
yeah. And that third game, I do think we were willing to play. I think from best me and Adam heard, we were willing to play, but Seton Hall. I don't know if this is 100% the gospel, but I heard that they played after us on Saturday and didn't want to turn around and play at 10 or 11 a.m. the next morning because they were going to have to play all the games in Ponce. So, I mean, if we were willing to play and they weren't, that is kind of frustrating because
that does seem like that was the case, though.
yeah, it does. It does. It's the overwhelming evidence from the best we can understand.
The official statement is, played due to field conditions and whatever, but it seemed like they were not willing to play that game. But I do get it a little bit. Not so much the short turnaround. I was talking to somebody today, and they said, it the, you still play. I mean, teams still play double headers. So what is finishing the game at 8:30 at night, whatever it was, and then turn around and playing at 10 the next morning. I mean, that still seems better than playing a double header. But I guess the little bit of remorse, the sympathy I have for them is, they do have a guy that on Friday night went through a grueling injury. If nobody saw that, Seton Hall was the team that had a guy running first base. They were playing Boston College. I think it was late, like maybe bottom 8. They were down 3-2. Guy was rounding first, hit a 2-run home run, kind of turned around to celebrate with the dugout, and just had just as nasty of a baseball injury, non-contact baseball injury as you probably ever see. The guy just like he just completely blew his ankle out. I was thinking about that. I'm sure the coaching staff or whatever probably went and visited him in whatever hospital he was in. It made for a long, long night on Friday, and then and then they did play until 8 or 8:30 on Saturday. So I mean, I'll give them a little bit of uh reprieve for that, but I just hate it for our guys. A lot of our pitchers, that we're probably going to get the opportunity to throw some innings. A lot of families of those pitchers, and other guys that we're going to get to play that their families had come down there to see them for our team, and then they didn't get that chance on Sunday. So I do hate it for them because there's a lot of families who made the trip down there and then didn't get to see their kids play. But I mean, they're used to that too. But I just still hate it to come all that way. So
Yeah,
especially on a game, especially there was an opportunity to play the game. It wasn't. Call it like it is. It wasn't just because of the weather. It was there was. It sounded like there was availability to play at the other field because they had already done that the first 2 days.
yes. Yeah, and I hope that doesn't put that tournament in jeopardy, that injury. I talked to Adam on Saturday morning. I was like, man, I would hate to. I mean, that injury was pretty bad. Broke his ankle, basically shattered it, it looked like. And, whether or not that they have the one of the best surgeons in the world in Puerto Rico or not, I really have no idea. But just the fact that, your team doctors are, a 4 or 5 hour flight away, and you would absolutely rather go to your orthopedic surgeon if you suffered an injury like that. And, a lot of these guys have professional aspirations. Being that far away from, medical care that you would normally rely on in that case, I do hope that doesn't, hurt the tournament in the future. But I do know that probably raised some eyebrows because it was a brutal injury and just hate it for that young man. But let's talk about the Pack because we Pack played good. We played the first game. I mean, we just absolutely after 3 innings, we it was a 0-0 game. We just ambushed Washington, scored 13 runs. I think I said 10-0 earlier. It was 13-0, but we 10-run ruled them. Scored 13 runs over the last 4 innings of the ball game. My initial takeaways from that ball game is, and one of my takeaways from the weekend is, man, I'm glad to have Dalton Bargo.
Oh man, no doubt.
We talked about on our first podcast needing some pop in the lineup. Well, he hit 2 home runs this weekend over 400 foot. We had 16 hits in that ball game. Wesley, from the Victory Plus broadcast, what'd you take away?
Well, of course, we knew Marone was going to be Marone, so I think that was what we knew the consistent going of that game was. And then to your point, Fargo's power, and then maybe we didn't talk enough about Wiggins in the opening podcast last week because he looked awfully good.
No doubt, Adam.
Yeah, I mean, I thought we got off to a hot start. We talked a little bit about, we saw Marone. I guess I was a little surprised to see Anderson Nance come in following him when I think we had maybe a 7-0 lead or something at the time. I think they ended up giving Marone the win though. I don't know if that was official. They did. Okay,
Yep.
which I'm glad they did. I'm glad they did. I mean, he obviously earned it. And
It was on a pitch count, and he hit his pitch count, and
Yeah.
first game of the year, that's what you do.
Yeah, and he really looked good, and had an opportunity there to close it out in the fifth, and I think he had a guy like 2-2 count and ended up just
Hitting him in the back.
lost a curve. Lost a breaking ball, it seemed like, and hit him in the back, and obviously, so I'm glad they went back and gave him the win, but but the thought was obviously that Washington, being a Big Ten team, was going to be probably the best competition we play all weekend, and to give Nance the chance versus them, to see those bats. And I mean, I thought they both looked good, right?
Yeah, I was surprised to see Nance walk 2 guys because it's not really his thing, walking guys. He normally pounces on. I will say, even Marone only had 1 walk, and he gave up 6 hits, but the zone was kind of tight Friday night. but it was tight both ways. I'm not saying it was an unfair zone, but the zone felt a little tight. And, normally when you got a tight zone and guys got to throw it over the plate, you do see a little bit more offense. Port Washington, they actually played a fourth game in Puerto Rico today, and they finally scored, but they were shut out.
Oh, I was going to say, did they score? Okay, good.
They lost 8-7 to Houston, but they did finally score. I want to get both y'all's.
They were shut out in the first three.
I want to get both y'all's take on this. Adam, you mentioned Wiggins, and surprised he wasn't. I mean, he is a specimen in uniform, no doubt, no question why he's been talked about as a potential high draft pick, but won't get into any specifics. But we talked a lot about Rhett Johnson on the preseason podcast, and the staff is still very excited about Rhett Johnson. We'll say that Rhett Johnson was injured, which is why we did not see him in Puerto Rico. And we'll also tell you that it is not any type of season ending. I'd expect to see him Wednesday, or if not on Wednesday against Winthrop, for sure next weekend against Princeton. But so Rhett will be back. I think that did change the starting lineup. I don't know that. I didn't go up to Coach Avent and say, "Hey, were you going to start Red if he wasn't hurt?" I don't know. Maybe we were going to roll out the same exact lineup we did, but I do want our listeners that follow closely to not think we just talked up Rhett, and then he didn't even get in at bat all weekend. He didn't play because of injury, but he should be back this week. But what I wanted to ask you guys, when you think about that, we're really high on Rhett Johnson. Andrew Wiggins looked great. We actually played Chris McHugh in left field. Bargo, played first base with McHugh in left field. Also, hats off to McHugh with an outfield assist out there in his first.
Unreal.
Yeah, threw a man out at the plate.
Yeah, and he picked a good time to do it too, because he had about, like I said, probably 30 scouts back there watching him. I mean, the guy, if there was any doubt about the guy, whether the guy could play outfield or not, he showed that he could. Man, he made a heck of a play.
Yeah, a great tag too by Lanfear on that. But
great tag.
Before we talk about that anymore, I do not envy the position Coach Avent's going to be in to have to write a lineup every game. Like, we got a lot of pieces. I mean, a lot of pieces. Just wanted to get you guys' take on that, because, I mean, if Johnson comes back and he's the real deal, like, I don't know how you write a lineup. And Sherman Johnson, another guy in that game, Sherman Johnson hit one off the wall, went 2 for 3. The next day, Pfeiffer played. One of my takeaways from the week, I really like Pfeiffer.
He is smooth at third base. Holy smokes!
He's got a big body. He's a grown man. He's 22 or 23 years old. So what's your take on that? I'll start with you, Wesley, on like having to write a lineup with the pieces. I know it sorts itself out, and we got a lot of non-conference games to do it, but just your thoughts on that, Wesley.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, I don't know what the lineup card was going to be going into the last week before Rhett Johnson was hurt. But I mean, looking at Wiggins, looking at what McHugh can do in left field. I mean, Bargo played first base. He held it down. I don't know. I mean, we got athletes all over the field, and I mean that's what Rhett Johnson was sold as an athlete. But hell, if he's more of an athlete than Wiggins, then he's going to be a hell of a player, So, I mean, I just almost hate that we're building up Rhett Johnson so much for a 18-year-old.
Yeah, I know.
Based on what we saw, and you guys saw more, and I mean, based on the game times, it's hard for me to watch all the games, but you guys had a chance to look at how big and strong and fast everyone was, and I don't know if it was just Victory Plus, but it looks like we got some big boys this year.
I will say about Johnson, before I let you go, Adam, and that's a good point, Wesley. Let's not put a lot of pressure on a freshman that hadn't even played, but he must be one hell of an athlete, because he ain't big as nothing. You could put him. We saw him out at the buses when our girls were getting autographs. You could about put Rhett in your backpack. So for them to be that high on him, he must be one heck of an athlete. Adam?
Yeah, it was, and it was pretty cool. We were talking to his some of his family was sitting near us, and they're sound like lifelong Pac fans, and a kid like that, we were talking about he had visits to I think Vandy and Arkansas and Ole Miss and Mississippi State. For him to go to those facilities and still want to come play at the Doak was it's pretty good. So yeah, he must be a special player to even be in the consideration. I mean, I listened back last week, Avent and one of the preseason podcasts that Avent had done, mentioned, I think he was basically saying he was most impressed by Rhett Johnson coming out of fall ball. So kid must be an absolute player because, some of these pieces like Wiggins that you mentioned, Wes, I mean, he fits the bill, and Pfeiffer as well. I mean, he kind of, he looks the part, looks good in uniform. And I mean, Wiggins, my girls went up to him after the game on Saturday and were getting him to sign their foul ball that Cal's son Carson was gathering up for him all around the ballpark there. But man, he was just a nice young man, but man, he is impressive in uniform.
Yes,
So
sir.
I'm excited. I'm excited to have him as part of the pack. But yeah, I don't know where you go. I mean, we were talking about it the other day, and I was like, man, I don't know. Avent and Coach Hart are gonna know what to do. But yeah, um, they're gonna have a tough job keeping all these guys happy. Cal and I were talking about it during the game, and I do feel like Coach Avent has obviously been around so long, and I think he probably does a really good job with kind of setting expectations with the team and not promising more than he has to or needs to. But man, we're gonna have a lot of guys that are gonna need to see the field. So
No question. I want to get to game two because we had a lot of questions. I mean, we're huge Jacob Duden fans. If you're a Pack fan and you're not, I don't know what's wrong with you. What he's done, his first 2 years in Raleigh,
of
just
course.
like Marone. But we were, wondering what Duden would look like going to the rotation. And man, he was absolutely lights out. We talked about pitch count. If he throws so many sliders, is he going to be able to go out there and throw 37 sliders and get behind in counts and walk guys? Dude goes out there, 5 innings, no walks, 68 pitches, 2 hits, no runs. I mean, and was not, D1 said he was 93 to 96. I mean, pounding his own with the fastball.
Yeah, and looked great. Looked great. I mean, obviously, and we made a couple of errors that cost him some outs. As part of that, I mean, matter of fact, was that the first or second out of the game that Mikey Ryan might have dropped at shortstop, on a little routine fly ball. Thankfully, nothing come back to bite us there. But yeah, I mean, he looked really good. I mean, he looked like an experienced starter. I don't know. I mean, I don't know any other way to describe it. I mean, obviously he's got the experience in some big games and some big, coming in some real clutch moments. But I don't know. I don't know how. I don't know what he could have done to look any better. I mean, he he looked good.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I'm super excited for him. I think he looks really good physically too. I mean, gosh, all these guys look bigger, right? I mean, I think Marone and freaking Luke Nixon. I mean, these guys are all bigger than I remember them being last year. And I think especially for Marone and Dude, those guys came in and pitched so much when they were young, right? And they just didn't get the chance to, you know, they pitched so much both, as a true freshman, and then with summer ball and fall ball, and then as a sophomore, and it was it's good for them. I feel like to get on the, you know we're able to bulk up and kind of get ready for the season, And I thought, gosh, dude, I mean, dude's legs are just huge, massive. It kind of reminds me of Wiggins. They're both big boys, but yeah, looks great. I mean, I think there's a lot to be excited about if you're a Pac-9 fan about having a guy like Jacob Dude be on the weekend rotation. So
48 out of 68 pitches for strikes.
that's the stat that I was going to say. I remember that too. Yeah.
He answered some questions for you, Wesley. What'd you think?
Yeah, I mean, just what you guys said. I mean, he came out there and answered the bell and throwing the fastball for a strike. It looks great. Um, yeah, I think that's. I mean, whether it be Marone or Duden, I mean, 'cause, I mean, we got to remember we've had an uncharacteristically cold winter where these guys really haven't had a chance to get out there and scrimmage and be outside like they're used to. So I really didn't know what we were going to get whenever they got down to Puerto Rico. So I think all things considered about the lack of time on the field and reps, both those guys were showed their all ACC caliber for sure.
Yeah, so they combined for 9.2 scoreless innings, Marone and Duden. You can't ask for any more in the first week of the season. Before I move on to talk a little bit more about our some of the other guys we saw this weekend and just overall what we thought. Also I did want to mention a couple of debuts that we saw. I tell you what, talking about looking good in uniform, you made me think of when you talk about leg size. Aiden Kitchens,
A freaking monster.
I know he gave up a 2-run home run. Hey, look, that's what happens when you leave him over the plate. Welcome to the show, kid. Is that what they say? I mean, he gave up a 2-run bomb. But before that 2-run bomb, he was absolutely cruising. Struck out 4. He's a big kid.
He's huge. He's just a defensive end throwing, pitching.
Yeah, I didn't see what he was where he was at on the gun, but man, he looked good and looked freaking. I mean, to be a true freshman, I mean, he looked
It says on X right now he's up to 94 this weekend.
okay. It looked maybe just because he's so big, it looked harder than that.
And Duden was 93, 96. I didn't see a number on Marone. I think I did hear someone in the stadium say
93, 94.
Yeah. And those guys, man, when you get deeper in the year, when it warms up a little bit, to Wesley's point earlier, they normally pick up a couple mile an hour. After the weather, it was warm in Puerto Rico now. Don't get me wrong, but still been inside all winter, like Wesley says. So another kid that we saw for the first time was Sam Harris. He got hit around a little bit, but kind of had some early adversity, and then pitched got through the inning. And then Truett Manuel. We heard a lot about Truett Manuel. Let's say at the tailgate and in the crowd. There's a lot of excitement about Truett Manuel. Maybe more than I expected. I only got to see him throw to one batter, and I only got to see him warm up, but from back from when I was a ball player, there's some guys that when they step up there and they throw like one or two warm up pitches, if there's a bunch of scouts there, everybody picks up the radar gun. Have no idea how hard Truett was throwing, but when he threw the second pitch, if you look behind home plate, to Adam's point about how many scouts we had in attendance, everybody in the building had the guns up because he just looks like I have no idea how hard he throws, but he looks like he throws gas, and I think he's going to be a guy that maybe we didn't talk enough about last week. That he's going to get an opportunity to play a big role in our bullpen. I know Wesley last week talked about Julian Peisel. We're going to go with Peisel tonight, and he made his first appearance. Gave up one hit in an inning of work, 8 out of 15 pitches for strikes. I mean, he looked to me like a veteran, Adam. I mean, just his presence on the mound didn't look phased by the moment. Obviously, it was a low leverage situation, but so got to see a lot of different arms this weekend. And to Adam's point, coming on the show, we expected to see Collins Black, Luke Hemrick, Caden Morris, probably Landon Carr, maybe Cooper Consiglio. Not sure what we're doing to midweek start. And then, of course, Heath Andrews was slated to start yesterday. So all those guys, you hate we didn't get to see by not playing that third game, and probably some more names maybe that I didn't even mention. But, we still were able to get 7 arms out there. And it was important. You could tell it was important for NC State to get that extra arm out there. I mean, I don't know with one out left to go that they were really worried about Kitchens, throwing 42 pitches versus 46, but they brought Manuel in to get one out. So I thought that was good. Go ahead and knock the rust off because I believe he is a kid that Tristan Potts, another name we didn't mention, but some guys you want to get out there early in the season and get some action. All right, let's go back to the hitters a little bit. I'm gonna just go down the lineup and just if you guys got anything you want to add, I'm not gonna go in depth, but Ty Head led off both games. He's the only starter that didn't have a hit. We don't expect that to last very long. He looks bigger too.
He does.
To Adam's point, I mean, he looks like a big leaguer in uniform. I don't think there's any question about whether or not he's going to play every day. McHugh, I think for the weekend, he looked just like Chris McHugh last year. Didn't really get one high in the air like we were hoping this weekend, but I mean, he hit 444 on the weekend. I thought it was very interesting. What did you guys think about in game 2, us batting Luke third? I mean, he looked really good game 1, and then we batted him.
Yeah, it was three for 4 game 1, and what did he drive in? He drove in at least 2.
Yeah, in the first game, Luke was 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs.
Yeah, look great. So
another guy that's put on some really good weight. I mean, his dad told me he's 175 pounds, but I mean, he looks a thick 175. I guess he came in at about 155, 160 as a freshman. So I thought he looked good. You go over to shortstop, Mikey Ryan, a lot of questions on whether or not he was going to hit. If you look at his summer ball stats, even last summer, I think he played in the same league that Bechtel that Wesley talked about last week played in. But Ryan had 3 hits on the weekend. I will say this, when you talk about the left side of the infield with Sherman Johnson, Mikey Ryan, and Pfeiffer, we were not super clean defensively. And there were some errors that were, maybe get scored in there that were ruled hits. I mean, Luke took a terrible one off the face. I mean, I think he just legitimately got a bad hop. But after the game, I hope he wouldn't mind me saying this. I don't think he would, but when we were out there in the autograph line, I saw JT and said, JT, man, we hit it good tonight. He said, yeah, but we were 1 for 5 on ground balls. And I think that's something to kind of keep an eye on. I heard on the D1 podcast that they said at baseball practice that, Coach Avent's always walking around the infield when they're taking fungos saying 980, 980, 980, because he wants the team to field 980 or better. That's like the expectation. And we were a little bit shaky on a few ground balls. I got to mention Mikey dropping the pop up. Might have been the sun. I know they had a guy struggle with the ball in the sun, but still.
Sun was brutal. Sun was brutal. That morning sun down there, I mean, it was. But yeah.
Yeah, and so
should have caught that ball.
Yeah, no doubt. And so I think that Sherman Johnson kind of mishandled one that ended up being an infield hit, which kind of to me, I think it makes the Pfeiffer question more valid because Pfeiffer's a switch hitting kid, looks great in uniform, gloves it like a pro over at third base, and we've talked about with Avent, you're going to play defense if you play on the infield for Elliot Avent. So, I think there's a lot of questions still to be answered on, what that lineup card looks like and, trying to find the right mix of offense and defense.
The other thing I will say about, especially talking about Johnson and Pfeiffer, I can't remember. This is not fair. But I don't remember Johnson really getting tested at third like I felt like Pfeiffer did, especially early. Pfeiffer made a couple really good plays and a couple, good long throws, So, I mean, I thought that those are more memorable, right? Like in my short-term memory of watching. But I just don't remember Johnson getting that many opportunities to kind of flash the leather like Pfeiffer did there in game 2.
Yeah, and Johnson, my Lord, he passes the look test too. 6'2" kid. I mean, he's just looks great in uniform. I mean, we look good coming off the bus. We'll see how we play here, but
Hey, speaking of, there's another thing we need to address about game 1. There's a lot of stuff, and this was brought up online, and I don't know. I can't speak for how they looked on. And I will say, like even looking in the pictures, they don't look great. But those damn smoke gray uniforms that we're wearing,
In person, they look phenomenal.
They are fire. They do. I'm telling you, those things are sweet, man. I know, like there was a lot of flack online about them. Those things are sweet. Ryan did a good job picking those out for the team to wear on Friday. They look great, and apparently that the guys really like them too. So that's all that matters, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I just wanted to clear the air on that because man, those are some good looking unis. I like them better than I do the script NC State light gray ones, that we had. Anyway, I just want to mention that.
No, valid. Wesley, this is collection of hitters before we talk about Winthrop and Princeton. I mean, we already beat it around a little bit, but man, just a good problem to have. Any negatives from the weekend, Wes? Your side?
Again, you guys were there. I didn't get to watch as much as you, obviously, but I think that when we're talking about all the positives, no one really mentioned Lanphier, and I thought Lanphier
Yeah, I was getting ready to
looked
say
really,
Lanphier.
really good, and maybe that might be the biggest positive coming out of the weekend. Honestly, how solid he looked behind the plate.
He looked good behind the plate, and he what was he?
He hit 600 for the
5?
week. Yeah.
Yeah, 3 for 5. Yeah.
Two walks. Yeah.
Yeah, he looked good at the plate too. So
Yeah, so I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. Again, from a negative standpoint, I think that's probably kind of hard, but you expect Ty is going to turn that around. You talked about fielding, but again, that could go back to just lack of time out practicing outside, lack of scrimmages, etc. So
Well, in the field, the field there was weird. It was clay
bases
around the bases, and then everything else was turf. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's not as big a deal as it seemed, but like that ball to
Luke.
that ball to Luke. I mean, that thing sped up when it hit the turf, right?
Yeah.
And then the guy that Lanphier threw out at second. I mean, how far did you say it is from behind home plate to second base?
I believe
Cal?
126 feet.
I mean, he threw it about 115 feet.
Yeah,
and that thing just, it was a perfect throw. It that thing just sped up, seemed like when it hit the turf. And there was another one. I'm trying to think who hit the ball over the first baseman's head one in the second game. It kind of took a weird bounce too, like it kind of took like seemingly like a shorter hop and then a bigger hop. I mean, it was just kind of weird. I mean, the guys are maybe some of them have played on turf more than others, but ball was hitting that turf and seemed like to me it was moving pretty good. So, I'll give them some reprieve for that too. Again, along with the fact that these guys. I mean, not necessarily the teams that we were playing, maybe, but I tell you what, there's not a lot of guys with a fungo that can hit it as hard as Wiggins and Bargo and these type guys that I'm playing the infield. So
yeah, and another thing,
it's hard to recreate 110 exit velo.
Your pregame prep too. When you play 4 games in a day on the field, it ain't the same either. It ain't like you getting out there getting 100 ground balls during batting practice.
Yeah,
when you're stacked up playing 4 games on one field in a day.
And their warm up facilities, that part of this stadium, I didn't go back there and check it out, which I did. It's a shame that we didn't kind of walk the whole stadium. Both days we walked in right as they were playing the national anthem, so we pretty much got to see the beginning of the game, and that was it. But it appeared that they just kind of had a grassy area out behind the wall in the outfield to kind of warm up, So there wasn't a whole lot to that, as far as a practice area that simulated the field anywhere.
Before we talk about Winthrop and Preston, I'm gonna get into. We're gonna talk just briefly about some other happenings in baseball on the weekend. But if you're still listening to us now, I missed our opportunity earlier. Maybe that's why we don't have more followers. But I do want to let everybody know that's listening to us, because believe it or not, guys, episode 1 last week we had the most new listeners in Pack Homer history for a show, and we had the most repeat listeners in Pack Homer history. So I don't know how many people out there still heard us just one time. I think my mom might have listened to us one time and quit. And maybe some of those people from last week that were new listeners are going to listen to us one time and quit. But we'll see what the metrics look like this week. But if you want to find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, you can follow us on Instagram at PackHomerPod. You can follow us on X at PackHomerPod. I think Adam has an email address. Is it PackHomerPod@gmail.com?
Yeah,
He never checks it. So if you got any hate mail you need to send us, if you want to sponsor the show, if you want to pay for me and Adam and Wesley to travel around the country with the team so we can give you the best insight, you just reach out to Adam by email. You probably won't even get it on the hook because he doesn't check the thing.
If you want to, send some compliments, but if you got anything negative to say, kind of like your mama used to tell you, you can just keep that to yourself.
Do feel free to comment on YouTube, but just don't, we're kind of rolling with our 5-star rating. We don't want to mess that up. So yeah, if you got anything, if you're feeling like you want to click 4 stars or give us a thumbs down, just save it for somebody else's show. ACC real quick before we get to Winthrop and Princeton. So in the ACC this past weekend, Clemson starts out at 3-0, Florida State 2-0, Georgia Tech 3-0, Miami, NC State, UNC, Virginia Tech, all undefeated through the weekend. Duke at 3-1, Boston College at 2-1. Boston College was down in Puerto Rico with us, of course. California 2-1. Notre Dame 2-1, Pitt 2-1, Wake 2-1. And that was a big upset where Houston beat them in game 1. Kind of had their way with Wake in that game. Stanford is 2-2, and then the biggest surprise of the weekend is Louisville, which I believe was preseason number 8 in the country. Lost 2 out of 3 at home to Michigan State. Yep. Other ACC
lost the first 2.
Yeah, lost the first 2. Other ACC, I guess, happenings. Of note, won the UNC game 2. I mean,
oh my God! Yeah, you said that. You said they were undefeated on the weekend, but they should have lost.
If you want to go see maybe the most Chuck Knobloch throw to first base from about 42 foot away that you can ever see in your life, I mean, hate it for the kid at Indiana. I don't know how you miss first base. I mean, they need to check that kid's FanDuel.
Well, it's one thing to make a bad throw and give up a run in a bases loaded situation, but can you imagine a situation where you're making a throw from second base to first base on a routine ground ball and give up 2 runs?
Yeah, moving to the glove side. He was moving toward first base. He could have ran it over there and it'd been a pretty good foot race.
I made that play tonight at my girls' softball scrimmage.
The other thing I'd say at the ACC, no hard feelings for Mr. Sosa, but Mr. Sosa did have quite the weekend down in Coral Gables. He hit 3 bombs this weekend for the Hurricanes, who started 3-0. Anything else ACC-wise you boys want to add?
Yeah, well, Mr. Sosa was facing Lehigh. I think on Sunday they scored 27 runs and he was over.
Yeah, I saw that.
So I saw the 27 runs. I was like, well, damn, how many did he hit today? So, but no, I'm obviously happy for him, but I'm excited where we're at with our battery as well. So.
Yeah, hey, to Wesley's point earlier, I mean, I said it last week. I ain't gonna apologize for saying that. I feel more comfortable with Lanphier behind the plate anyway. I mean, I just think he's better defensively. I don't think it's a big argument. And he looked really good. So,
when I think he did DH on Sunday
for Miami.
Yeah, I think he DH'd.
So, yeah, happy with our battery, and we, got some options back there. Preston Bond got a little bit of work. And then, we know Bargo catches, but, as long as Lanphier keeps hitting 600 and throwing guys out, we'll be pretty good. When I was sitting here about to jump to the weekend, one thing we didn't mention earlier that I don't know how we missed it, because, mind-numbing to me, we stole 6 bases this weekend.
Oh, and we're moving on a lot of pitches.
Yeah, we were running a lot of times when we put it in play. We were
Exactly.
aggressive on the base pass, and I think that speaks a little bit more to our roster breakdown too. Do you guys know how many bases we stole last season?
How many
No.
bases we stole last season? I would say I have no idea. I would say maybe 65.
30.
Dang.
Stole 30 bases last season, and right now we are on pace for, I guess if you play 56 games, which we've already lost one, but if we only play 55 games, we're on pace for 155 right now. So I think that I think that's a pretty noteworthy noteworthy statistic from the weekend that we I didn't bring up
Well, how
earlier.
many how many how many did Frazeman steal? Did he have 3 of them?
Seems like you put me on the spot. Last year we were 30 for 40. I was kind of taking a sneak peek of that. Dang, we were only 75% running too. Let's see. Luke Nixon was 2 for 3. Luke, we were 6 out of 7 on the weekend. Luke actually got picked off on the first movement on a left-hander. It happens. Frazeman stole 2. Luke stole 2. Mikey Ryan swiped 1, and Andrew Wiggins swiped 1. And
He
Andrew,
stole third.
he stole third with a left-handed batter at the plate after A-Vent chewed him for not tagging up on a fly ball.
Yeah, I tell you what, man. I don't know. I couldn't love Coach Avent anymore. I mean, but it was kind of fun at the game watching him kind of coach the guys. JT was coaching first base, and we'll just say politely, Avent was pissed that Wiggins
Good tag up.
didn't tag, and and it wasn't Wiggins. I'm trying to think who was on second. But somebody advanced to second, and Avent was hollering at JT. He said, "Make sure he knows to get back on the line drive," and then you hear JT relay it
Yeah.
to the guy who was on second. So
Live
always coaching.
Yeah, you always wonder
coaching.
why, how he's been doing this thing 30 years. You're right. He coaches every pitch. I remember one play, we hit a ball deep in the gap, and we tagged from second to third, and I think it was Lamphere he was on for not trailing the second. He was like, now the double play is still in order because you didn't, doesn't miss a thing. And
Well, and there was another situation like that with somebody who wasn't it somebody. Oh, wasn't it somebody who advanced? What was it? Somebody advanced, and then the shift. They moved out of the shift.
oh, yes, took second because I guess they had a green light, and it kind of messed up the way that the way they played him on the infield, closed up the hole. I mean, just every little thing. I mean, he was just over there.
Yeah,
I
love it.
He probably don't want to sit in that close anymore. But in Puerto Rico, we were basically in the dugout. I mean, the railing there right behind the dugout. But it was fun to just listen to Coach Avent play chess there, even when we were up, 10 runs.
Yeah, it was good. It was great. It was great. And I saw Coach Avent, as a matter of fact, speaking about him, I saw he with the win, I guess Saturday, he became wasn't it the 4th winningest all time ACC coach? I think that's right, at 1,074 or something like that at a single school.
That is correct. Yep. So home opener. Me, Wesley, and Adam are planning on being at the home opener on Wednesday. I shouldn't say that because I might have to sneak out of work. But we have the Winthrop Eagles, who I believe were a 32 win team last year. They're in the Big South. Last year they were 31 and 29 last year, 13 and 11 in the Big South. They went 2-1 this weekend. Anyway, any thoughts on that game? And I mean, midweek starter versus a Big South opponent. Y'all got any?
I'm about as prepared to talk about Winthrop and Princeton as I would be taking a bat up there against Marone and Duden. I don't know. I obviously it's going to be interesting to see who we. I mean, honestly, it sounds like Consiglio was pitching pretty good, right? Potentially was going to be one of the next guys in. But I got to think that, maybe Chrysler's, he's slotted for that midweek role. I don't know that. I'm just speculating, but if the guy's going to be a starter, I'd be excited to see who we do pitch. But we got a lot of guys that didn't get any work in Puerto Rico that obviously we want to see. But I mean, I just think it's hopefully it's an opportunity for some of these, really for the next freaking month, right? Until what is it, Boston College we play first, in ACC play. I mean, hopefully it's a opportunity to get a look at a lot of these guys that we're talking about. The Sherman Johnsons and the Devin Mitchells and the Preston Bonds and the Pfeiffers and kind of figuring out where all these pieces fall. The Rhett Johnson, to see where all these pieces kind of shake out. Hopefully we can get them a lot of ABs, in these coming next 3 weeks.
Well, since we ain't got a whole lot on Winthrop, I got something fun for y'all. I actually just stumbled across it here while I was trying to come up with something on the Winthrop Eagles. So they got a kid with a heck of a missed opportunity. He doesn't wear number 3, but his name is Luke Earnhardt.
Wow.
He threw 5 scoreless, had 8 strikeouts this weekend. A Middle Tennessee State transfer. I want y'all to go look up Luke Earnhardt because I want you to believe what I'm telling you. Luke's father.
He's not number 8 either.
No, Luke. He is number 10. But the best part about Luke, and I doubt Luke's going to be listening. Luke's father is named Dale. So we're going to see Dale Earnhardt's son, Luke. I don't think any relation this weekend.
Man, is today the 25th anniversary of Dale Earnhardt's?
We're getting deep in the weeds now.
Man, I know, right? Golly, what an emotional time that was for me 25 years ago. I swear I think it was the day. No, it was the February 18th. Never mind.
So Luke Earnhardt and the Winthrop Eagles are coming to town. Leading hitter, Gabe Natividad, hit .417 this weekend, went 5 for 12. We ain't got a whole lot on Winthrop. I just hope we beat them.
Who did they play? Who did they go 2-1 against?
Georgetown.
Okay.
So don't got a whole lot on them. Just that we hope we win, and we're gonna be disappointed if we don't. And then coming into town for the weekend series, supposed to have some good weather. I hope some folks will get out to the Doak and fill that place up. We got the Princeton Tigers, and hard to get excited about this one too. We got a 3-game set with the Princeton Tigers, who are coming off a 12-31 Ivy League season. We're 8-13 in the Ivy League, 12-31 overall, and they're picked 6th out of 8 teams in D1 baseball in the Ivy League. And when you read the breakdown, it said that their second baseman that hit .236 last year is going to be the ringleader for the Tigers. His name is Jake Croonan. I'm going to be pretty disappointed if we don't, get a lot of guys some opportunities against the Tigers.
I got a fun fact for you about the Princeton Tigers.
Let it rip.
They appeared in the first televised college baseball game in 1939 versus Columbia. So that's all I know.
What about you, Wesley? What's your studies of the Princeton Tigers got us? Your turn.
I'm just trying to. 1939, son of a bitch, Jesus. There'd be a TV back then. I don't have anything on Princeton, man. Nothing.
You're just glad we're not playing them in a quiz bowl next weekend.
Just thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
All I can think of is the Four Corners offense when I think of Princeton. I don't think
exactly.
Anything baseball when it comes to Princeton. But
Baseball,
I'm looking forward to drinking, having a cold beer on Wednesday with you fellas and hopefully some of the other Pac fans.
Baseball was the first varsity sport at Princeton.
How about that?
Before football?
And here I thought they were just good for putting out smart people.
I know, exactly.
Winthrop will be more formidable opponent. They're picked to finish 3rd in the Big South behind High Point and USC Upstate, 3rd out of 9 teams. So Winthrop will probably be the better ball game. But go ahead, Adam.
Princeton's head coach is in his 29th season.
Wow.
Yeah.
You think the seat gets very hot at Princeton?
No.
You think his seat gets hotter if they go 12-31, or if the team GPA is 2.8? Just asking.
Well, no, it ain't even gonna be 2.8. I mean, that's you're on academic probation at that point, aren't you?
Yeah, looking ahead, next week in the midweek we got Richmond and Akron, and then Sacred Heart. I mean, really till March 3rd. I hope we can stay unblemished. We got Coastal Carolina on March 3rd, and Coastal did go 3-0 this weekend, and looks like they probably are the real deal. I mean, they got some arms. What you got, Litch?
All right, so I got a couple more fun facts in about Princeton. So Joseph McElroy Mann was the first collegiate player to throw a curveball and the first player to ever pitch a no-hitter, either amateur or professional. And the last thing is they had a catcher, William Schneck. Schneck was the first player to wear a chest protector in baseball. So anyway.
After he saw the curveball, he had to put the chest protector on.
Yeah, exactly. So I have to improve my protections back here. So anyway, I don't know what else we can find out about Princeton. I hope that was enough for the preview for you listeners if you're still with us.
All right. Any final thoughts? I am excited. I think we're going to get an opportunity to play a lot of guys. Go ahead, Adam.
Come freaking watch and support this baseball team. This is a team to be excited about. I can tell you, we got a lot of pieces. We talked about the pitching a lot. We knew, the expectations were high for the pitching staff coming into this, but I'm telling you what, this is going to be an exciting baseball team to watch. And other Wolfpack sports might be letting you down. Come watch the baseball team. So that's my plea. So I think they're gonna be a pretty special group.
I'll second that. Wesley, you got anything there?
See y'all on Wednesday afternoon.
Won't leave yet. My final thought is I want to know how much I want to pack home the pod logo on the wall at the Doak. We probably can't afford it.
We can't get anybody to tell us how much it is. Even
we just want a price. And I was down there this weekend in Puerto Rico, and they had some tarps hanging over the wall of some sponsors. Manhattan had a sponsor on the wall.
Manhattan University had sponsored. Yeah, we just want to do that today. Can't get anybody to give us a number. Wes, can you get on that for us?
Yeah, I think we can probably do it.
Yeah,
I'm not asking you to write the check. I'm just asking you to help get us a number.
No, the people that email Adam they're gonna help us write the check. We're gonna put a big old Pack Homer Pod logo on. They might not want our logo on the wall. I don't know, but we're pretty loyal fans. So anyway, had a lot of fun talking about a couple of teams that maybe we ain't all that excited to play. But to Adam's point, I echo it. Got an exciting team to watch. Hope you guys make it out to Doak this week, and we'll probably see you next Sunday or Monday night again. That's it for me. Go Pack.
Sounds good. Go Pack.
Okay.